Yeah, thank you, Phil. We have two more regional webinars coming up. They're listed on the same TSP2.org website with links to them so that you can get registered. There's also a few other things that are coming up, so please take a look at the website and keep up to date. Thank you.
Okay, so now we got a couple of questions. We have about 14 minutes left. The first question I have from John is, does Indot roll their chip seals prior to sweeping? Todd?
The chip seals, the emulsion's put down, we require the stone to be put down within a minute, and then we try to get the rollers on them within 2 minutes. That's not always possible, but then we make 3 complete coverages with the rollers before we sweep them.
A second softball one, Stacy. Do the contractors know the fixed budget beforehand on your fixed price variable scope projects?
Yeah, we put that in the JSP, and it's also in our statewide budget that's publicly released.
This one's for John Sanger. First, a comment from Willis. The balls of the aggregate may be the fines from the material being wet at the time of application. Do you have a comment on that, or would you like another question, John?
No, that's probably a good point. There were several of these blemishes throughout the roadway. The only concern was that it only happened consistently in a certain section of the roadway. It wasn't consistent through the entire, I think there were like 10 miles of paving. So, but it only happened on like a day's worth of paving is the odd part.
How much microsurfacing do you do at night? And is the tack coat an issue at night? John?
As far as I know, there have not been many complaints about the tack coat at night. We do some at night, but not a lot. I would say probably maybe 10 to 15%.
Continuing along that vein, what ash correction value was used for the asphalt extractions on the micro? And was the gradation affected? John?
So the asphalt extraction is done with a centrifuge and a solvent. It is not done with an ignition oven. So there doesn't need to be a correction factor there.
Has Illinois used RAP as an aggregate in the microsurfacing?
We have not used RAP. Currently, we only allow virgin materials in our micro.
Do you use any polymers in your mix design?
Yes, our microsurfacings are latex modified.
Is the standardized form to help with the calibrations available online, John?
It will be available shortly. We are putting the final tweaks on it, and then it will be published, I would imagine, within the next couple of weeks.
And how would somebody like me find that on your website?
That will probably be on the contractor's quick links. I am hoping to post it in a separate web section that's developed or specifically for pavement preservation on IDOT's website.
Todd, what type and how much community outreach do you do for your micro or chip seal projects? John, you can field that, but first I'd like to hear from Todd.
It varies. I mean, we typically will put a message board out several weeks before a road is going to be chip sealed, just kind of letting everyone know that's coming. Depending on the district and depending on the road, they'll do press releases, maybe in a local newspaper or something. So things like that.
John, same question.
I would say that we're similar. I don't know if we do a whole lot of message boards beforehand. A lot of that depends on the roadway and the amount of traffic that's on it. We have been doing more public awareness communications about our pavement preservation program in general, just so that way the public knows that our intent for pavement preservation is to preserve our investment in our infrastructure.
His comment is the washboarding and the microsurfacing is likely because the micro paver is going too fast. We implemented a ride quality specification for microsurfacing in New Jersey, and the quality has been much better, very little washboarding. But he has a question for Todd that asks, what size chip is Indot using? Todd?
Yeah, so the job I showed, we typically use one of 3 gradations. We call them SC 11, 12, and 16. Generally, we're using the 11 or the 16, and those have a 1/2 inch top size.
One final question, and then we'll go ahead and let you go. How much time is given to cure seal after rolling before sweeping? Is sweeping done right after the rolling is completed?
Yeah, so with the CRS2P, we say at least 2 hours, let it cure before you sweep it. Using the anionics, we've got to go a little farther, but we still like to get it swept within 24 hours.
Is all the work in our fixed price variable scope in a district for a specific work type included in one project?
No, we have chip seal work done under other projects. Michigan does do a district-wide crack sealing, I think every district every year. I'm kind of interested in that, but we haven't gotten there yet. We just did the one project, but I think there's value there.
And I have answered all the questions. I will turn it back over to our moderator for any final comments. Patty?
Thank you, everyone, and we look forward to seeing you on the next webinar.
The preceding was produced by the National Center for Pavement Preservation. More information can be found on the web at pavementpreservation.org. Additional support provided by Michigan State University.